welcome to another episode of the Rams House Podcast. Ethan here, joined by Joe and OJ. What's going on, guys?
What's up? What's up?
What boys?
Well, as you guys can see from the title, we're covering LA Rams draft options at quarterback and wide receiver. We're going to be talking about draft options all the way through the draft, and then we'll be discussing who we draft after the draft. This is our premier focus now. So we're going to cover, to some degree, the quarterbacks and receivers that we've really done some homework on. And then we're going to kind of highlight our favorite options at each of those positions, realistically and more. So I'm pretty excited. Free agency, we've kind of had a discussion about that. We all kind of left hoping that it would have gone better. Not feeling at the moment that the Rams are Super Bowl contenders, which is really what we should be judging the Rams on, because A, we're a Super Bowl level franchise, and B, when you kind of go all in with bringing Stafford back and going after Devontae Adams, stuff like that, you're kind of like signaling, hey, we're trying to win a championship before Stafford is done, right? Like that clearly is the goal that the team has put forward. So we're going to judge them on the goal they've put forward, which is to be Super Bowl contenders. As of right now, they're not there. So let's see what help we can get at the quarterback and receiver positions in the draft that might make a difference. Let's just dive right into it. No reason to fiddle about it. Let's start with quarterbacks, guys. We've watched quite a few quarterbacks. I would say it's a pretty weak quarterback class overall. I don't think it's as weak as people are making it out to be. There is a lack of top tier quarterback talent. When you watch the film, there's no like bona fide stud. And so I think that's kind of where part of the discussion comes in about being a weak quarterback class. It also has a real lack of depth. There's like not that many good ones in this entire draft, but there is some guys that no one is talking about that are really, really good, that are like potentially going to shock some people. And that's kind of where we're going to sit favorably is discussing those guys. Because like, look, at the end of the day, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders are both likely to go top 5 at the lowest, I think. I think they both go top 3, but I don't see either of them dropping past top 5. They seem totally out of reach. So what we've done is we've highlighted our favorite picks: Will Howard, Jackson Dart, and Dylan Gabriel. And then our yellow highlight here, Curtis Rourke, is kind of our honorable mention, and he's a guy that maybe we would look to be like a really talented backup later in the draft. So, yeah, we really let's start with Will Howard. We don't really have them numbered particularly. As you guys can see from our final scores, Dylan Gabriel is our favorite of these 4 quarterbacks, and then I think it's kind of a toss-up between Jackson Dart and Will Howard. Will Howard is more polished, but Jackson Dart has a higher ceiling. Um, but you guys want to start talking about Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say
where's one of
for Dylan Gabriel, the main reason why, at least for me personally, why I like him a lot is that out of all the quarterbacks in this class, one thing that surprised me about him was his accuracy.
Yeah,
When I was watching his film, pretty much majority of the throws he was making, they were spot on in stride,
like so spot on.
like NFL level, like I'm talking about NFL level ready, like that's how accurate those throws were. On top of that, for a guy that is a smaller guy, he has a big arm. Like he's not like
He's
typically
really strong
he's a
arm.
and we actually have a very interesting comp from because his play style is very similar to this guy as well as Russell Wilson. Is
Yeah.
that he has a very beautiful moonball like Russ has. On top of that, he has that escapability where
Yes.
if he needs to escape, he can. And on top of that, what I mean by escape is not just like as a runner, but as an improviser. He can escape from the pocket, get outside the
Mm-hmm.
pocket, find the open receiver down the field, and that is to me is what the big difference maker from him to the other guys is his accuracy. He has zip on his ball. He is also like I said, accurate. He's smart. He makes the right reads.
Yeah.
Majority of the throws that I was really impressed by were these intermediate throws in the middle of the field. Where the reason why I say that is in the college level, usually guys they struggle with that,
Yeah.
and in the NFL level, that is an NFL level. A lot of times, guys when they transition to NFL level, they struggle with those intermediate throws in between the numbers, outside the numbers. Layering the throw, seeing to put touch on the ball or just trying to drill it through between defenders. He knows how to do that. He can throw at different speeds. He can layer the ball in a zone. He knows how to throw a receiver open, which is another key point. Like I said, he's a complete quarterback.
Yeah.
Now the main thing why we put him as a 9.5 as a Rams fit score is because as a fit, it's literally what Sean McVay wants in his offense. He wants a guy who's will spread the ball around, who's accurate, but on top of that, he has some maneuverability that if he needs to escape, he can escape, with the pocket. Now, I would say that
It's kind of the guy that he's always dreamt of having, right? Like
yeah,
he's great on time, but he can create a little bit more
exactly.
without going crazy and without being like a crazy dual threat.
And that's the thing. He's not like a gunslinger in a sense where
He's
he's
really
not going to
not.
force the ball. He's honestly like in a way like if we're talking about like an ideal quarterback, like he is an ideal quarterback. Like
Yeah, I mean, let's let the film. We're gonna watch some film on it. Let's let the film do the talking. But I mean, Dylan is really, he's a guy that doesn't have a weakness in his game. I don't think. Joe,
Yeah,
what do you think?
with Dylan, just the stuff I've seen from you, I don't want to reiterate what OJ said. He's super accurate. Like you say, he can layer the ball. One of the great things I've seen about him, he's so good hitting deep threats because he had Tez Johnson in Oklahoma. He had some deep threats. He hit
Yeah.
those guys good. And the one thing I like about Dylan Gabriel is he's a veteran. So he's been. Some people look down on it. He's been in college for 6 years. He played for 3 different teams. He was UCF, then Oklahoma, then Oregon. Some people look down on it, but me, especially when I want my quarterbacks to come in, especially in our situation, where it would be good for our QB to come in to be able to come in quick, maybe sit a year, but be ready within 3 years. That's what I like, and there's something that's super important. That's actually incredible about Dylan Gabriel that shows consistency. All 6 years he played, other than 1 year where he was hurt, he was around he doesn't throw interceptions.
Well, let's show it. I actually pulled it up because I knew where you were going with that. He was successful at all 3 stops. Like, look at this, guys. His passing at UCF was insane. 32 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's guys, 7.7 touchdown rating,
Is that
1.0 interception rating.
By the way, look at this career stat line.
155 touchdowns.
That's arguably the greatest like college overall.
That's a 3
of all time.
No, that's a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, guys. Almost.
It's incredible. And if you look at it, it's consistently almost the same
every season he's done. Look, he never threw, besides his freshman year, his true freshman year, he never threw more than 6 interceptions. I mean, really, he never threw more than 7. So it's like, it's insane. But look, he had a dominant season at UCF, actually 2 dominant seasons at UCF. He had 2 dominant seasons at Oklahoma, and then his dominant season last year at Oregon. And by the way, guys, he's not playing he's playing good schools, especially at Oklahoma and Oregon. He was playing good schools and dominating them. Dylan, guys, we're gonna let the film do the talking, but the reality is Dylan is a freak of nature, and his play. In fact, I'm gonna put on a new video that we haven't watched. It's brand new, 6 days ago. I'm gonna put this on so we can watch it, and but I'm telling you guys, this dude is no joke. Let's put this on the big screen. We'll watch it like this so we can fit everything in. But introduce you guys to Dylan Gabriel. He's an absolute beast. He's a lefty, by the way, but look at that. You're talking about throwing it on time. Dude doesn't have to break stride. It literally, like when you talk about dropping it in the basket, that ball is dropped. That was a deep ball. Little pump fake. Here's some of the improvisational skills. He's always looking downfield. In that regard, he reminds me of Russ. He also reminds me of Mahomes. But that ball was kind of on the move and thrown.
He's always
so accurate.
He's always looking to see how can I, if the read isn't there, how can I make a play down the field? He's not going to instantly just tuck and run if his first or second or third.
And he's pretty athletic. He's pretty quick. Yeah. But look at these deep balls, guys. In stride, in the basket, over and over again.
His intermediate and deep balls, they're always in stride. They're always on time. The receiver doesn't have to slow down.
And he can run. he can run,
by the way. He can run. So if he needs to run, he can run.
Yeah.
in that sense, I mean, again, it's very Russ like. He's Russ size. He throws like Russ. He's accurate like Russ. He improvises like Russ. It also reminds me of Mahomes in the sense that like he can be a playmaker when he needs to be a playmaker.
It's
With his
kind of crazy,
bro, look
if
at
you really
that ball.
if
It's
you
so
really break it
pretty.
down and you think about it, like how this guy isn't being talked about more.
He's flying under the radar, which is why
It
I'm
could
kind of
be
pumped up about maybe
that
trading up
is a
into the second.
positive thing for the Rams. That a
Bro,
possibility for him not
let's
being looked at much is
this
putting
is an
aside,
NFL throw.
I think that's done.
Look at this post throw. You're talking about from the he's at the 41. No, like he's all the way at the 30 50, 46 right here. From the 46. Look at this. Look at this dime. Like just perfect in stride on the post, and he catches it at the 2. That was a 40 was a 44-yard throw. 44-yard air distance.
By the way, those are the NFL throws I'm talking about.
That dude, to throw that accurately, that effortlessly, 42 yards. I know 42 isn't an insane number, but what we're talking about is just the unbelievable accuracy and ease in which he does these throws. He's already had multiple throws of over 55 yards, but it's just a perfect strike down the middle. And throwing to the middle of the field in the intermediate part is NFL. Like, good lord, dude, this guy's so good. He's so fun to watch play. The Oregon O line last year wasn't great. He regularly has. This is Ohio State, guys. Diamond against Ohio State. This is freaking. Is that the playoffs? Like,
yeah, it was
dominating. Now Purdue's not quite the challenge, but look at the accuracy and the touch on that throw, bro.
If he throws that even like a foot, like even half a foot, like less, that's getting picked.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love watching this guy play football.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, right?
I can't have him going to the Seahawks.
You rarely see guys who are this advanced at throwing.
Look at his escapability. Look at his dude. Look at him making space, dime to the sidelines.
That's the thing about Gabriel, right? You don't see guys at the college level entering the draft this advanced at throwing the ball. He can make all the throws and he makes the right reads as well. Gosh. Like he's an NFL
that was in traffic.
Day 1 starter. Like he's ready to start. And that's like people talk about, oh yeah, 6 years. But by the way, he's not like he's 25. I'm pretty sure he's 23.
I want to highlight something.
Yeah. He's not like crazy old.
He's hitting these guys in stride where they could literally go. It's the moment they catch the ball, they don't have to stop running. Like that is a skill that a lot of quarterbacks simply don't possess.
Especially as a young
creating time, moving in the pocket, and then dime.
Throwing where your receiver is going to be is something that a lot of young quarterbacks struggle with.
Yeah.
As a transition.
Getting out.
He already has that ability.
Dime. Like, bro. Joe, what do you got? Come on.
No, Dillon Gabriel's great, bro. He's amazing, man. It's like I just said, the way the one thing that I like about him the most when watching his tape is he's super composed.
Always.
Incredible thing to have because Shedeur is the same way.
Yes.
That in any moment they're composed in the pocket. They're not scared by the
never rattled.
They're not rattled. They're not trying to hurry up and get out of the pocket like other QBs do. He's super composed, and I think that's incredible. When you're accurate and composed, that's how
it's deadly.
You're going to be a good NFL QB.
Yes.
Those are NFL traits because a lot of times, unfortunately, why we see a lot of these Georgia, Alabama QBs and Ohio State QBs not work out in the NFL level is because they have such great O-lines. And when they get into the NFL level and they're under duress, because they're not as much as under duress in college, they struggle because they're not used to it. And they don't know how to adjust to it.
Did you guys see that throw?
Gabriel already is adjusted to that.
Dude, look at this tight window throw. This is absolutely a beauty. So he has plenty of time in the pocket, but he just uncorks right. Look at this. That guy's well covered, but the ball placement is perfection.
I mean, it's just...
I want to reiterate something that Ethan said earlier. That's super, super important, especially if Dillon goes to a bad team. Dillon has succeeded in every system he's been in.
Yep.
Oklahoma, he was in a different system. UCF, he was in a different system. And now with Oregon, he was in a different system. He succeeded in all those systems, which means he's smart.
He's really smart.
He understand the game fast.
Yeah.
So if he goes to a bad team, you might not have to worry about that much because a lot of these bad teams switch coordinators a lot, or they do different things every year. They switch it up. so he could adapt to that quickly. He's adaptable.
So
Yep.
That's
the reason why we've given him a 9.5 score on his fit with the Rams is because if you're watching the highlights, what you're watching is a guy going through his reads quickly and finding the open man and hitting them. And when things start to break down, he has great ability to avoid pressure, keeping his eyes downfield at all times, and then he finds the guy who comes open. Like, this is Sean McVay offense 101. Sean's off because in Sean McVay's offense, the superstar is Sean McVay's offense. That's how the offense is designed. It's designed to have a guy who's not trying to be the star, who's just running the offense with efficiency, and who's making the right decision at the right time, which is what Dylan Gabriel really is really good at.
and the only thing that I would say that is probably the reason why a lot of people sleeping on him, probably the reason why he won't go super high, is only because, and it showed the Ohio State game some, is that his creativity is not like the superstar creativity like you see out of Cam Ward sometimes, or some out of Shador. And like you just mentioned Stafford. Like we always get on Stafford about, he just can't get the right play. But things Stafford does that made him elite for so long when he was, is that he has elite superstar creativity when the Super Bowl, when Cup wasn't open, he looks off the linebacker and he throws a no look to blah blah blah. That's something Dylan Gabriel struggled with, and that's the reason why some people might not have him high. But and like you said, in the Sean McVay offense, you don't even need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's other reasons too, right? He's short. He's a lefty. He's a little bit older than some of the other guys, which is,
Yeah.
I would say, the main reason is probably because he's a shorter quarterback. Nowadays, like NFL fans as well, like teams, like they're trying to go out there and get like the next Josh Allen,
Yeah.
the next physical specimen, the next dynamic QB. When they see a guy that's like 6 foot, 5'11", 5'10", even if like they have those traits, like even though they're accurate, they have a good arm or this and that, they're mobile, they just lose that traction because, oh, this guy's short, like he's not going to be durable, oh, he's too small or this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that if a guy doesn't have those skills, but Dylan Gable has those skills. That's the thing.
So
that's the difference. Yeah.
I hope you guys got some idea. We watched him. Yeah, ironically, the one thing that doesn't pop out in that is his short throwing, because he did so much intermediate and deep throwing, like it's all over the place. But he's so accurate. He's such a good decision maker. Obviously, you can tell that not just by the film, but you can tell that by his stats. He had, I mean, dude, he had 32 interceptions in 6 seasons. So that's crazy, right? Like,
yeah,
this dude is a stud, and hopefully you guys got an idea of why he's our number one fit for the Rams and why we have him rated number one. Really, him and Shador kind of tied at number one as far as our final scores are concerned, both at 9.5. And the crazy thing about Dylan that makes him really attractive to the Rams, in my opinion, is the fact that he could easily be available for a second round trade up for us. And I would trade one of our thirds and a second next year to move up into the second round and get him. I would do it without even hesitating.
Absolutely, that's not a question. Like,
he is going to be a very good quarterback for a team, and I hope it's the LA Rams. All right, so let's go ahead and transition to our next quarterback. I guess, do we want to let me just pull up his combine stuff, because he didn't do anything, but we can look at his measurements. I think that's did he even measure? Let's see. So you guys get an idea, his actual size and everything. He's not big. He's a small quarterback, but he's not like, so he's 5'11", 205 pounds. He's got pretty small arms and hands. This is some of the stuff that's going to make him fall down in the draft, but it's not something that's necessarily going to make him a bad quarterback. So, that's Dylan Gabriel. Let's go ahead and move on to our next quarterback, which is going to be, let's do Jackson Dart next. Now, one of the things that we want to highlight on here is that Jackson is going to be more exciting than Dylan Gabriel is.
Yeah.
Because he's much more of a gunslinger type quarterback.
Yep.
But that isn't necessarily what a Sean McVay offense really thrives on, right? And so let's take a look at Jackson Dart's stats first. He had really his last 2 seasons were really good, but his last season with Ole Miss was spectacular.
Spectacular. He was
Just
spectacular.
under
Yeah, he was
70%
he was
completion,
amazing last year. Yeah.
40 almost 4,300 yards, 29 touchdowns, 6 picks, 10.8 yards per attempt is wild. I mean, this guy is no joke, guys. So he's a stud in that sense. Let's check out his measurables real quick. He is gonna come in at 6'2", 223. So he's got a that's a pretty decent build for a quarterback. The arms are a decent length. The hands are a little bit on the small side, but not like crushingly small. Let's go ahead and take a look at some Jackson Dart highlights.
Like you said, man, Jackson Dart is a fun QB to watch, man. He's fun. He's fun. I like watching Jackson.
Yeah,
Dart.
he's definitely actually that works fine on that. Let me just go bigger. Yeah. So he's guys, he's a guy who like goes for it, right? He's a bit of a gunslinger, but
He take chances.
He's not. We would say he's not like it's not like a Brett Favre level where he's.
but that
just-
like that throw right there, just as an example.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the funny things about this throw is that everyone lost their minds when Zach Wilson did this at his pro day. Zach Wilson never did this in a game. And
Jackson
so,
Dart did in the game.
this is a risky throw. In fact, it's probably not a very advisable throw. He's drifting to his left. He's a right-handed thrower, so he's gonna throw across his body from his own 40. He's in his own side of the field here. He gets up to about the 44, and he basically throws it all the way down to the 4. So that's what a 60-yard throw.
that's the difference,
That's
right?
insane, dude.
Dylan Gabriel, you're not going to see those highlight level like throws like that. Jackson Dart can make those highlight level throws where it's like off balance,
That was a
running
layered
to the
throw.
opposite sideline, running the opposite way, throwing 40
Yeah.
yards across the field. That's what makes him exciting, and that's
was
where
a-
the potential is.
He layers the ball pretty well, and as you saw just from these last 2 throws, so like this first one was a straight moon ball, right? Like he just lofted this into the air. This is like a legit touch moon pass. Like look how much touch is on this pass. Just straight touch ball and
By the way,
pretty
that
deep
throw
one.
that was an effortless release. He didn't
Yes,
really move.
which is one of his things. He has a cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
He could throw 60 yards downfield with a flick of wrist. Really reminds you of Aaron Rodgers type throws. But this throw is another deep throw, but it's a laser. It's a totally different kind of throw than the last one. And that's one of the things Jackson brings to the table is he has a lot of different ways he can throw the ball. He has a lot of different ways he can. His ball placement has a lot of options for him. Here's another kind of moon ball. It's kind of in between those two, actually. He can do whatever he wants with that football. He can do whatever he wants.
Man. Effortless, dude.
Effortless. He reminds me of Rodgers in that sense, where he just cut. Rodgers is my comp for this guy, and I know that's crazy, but the way he effortlessly just flicks the wrist and the ball kind of does whatever he wants it to do, that's very Aaron Rodgers like to me. His release reminds me of A-Rod a little bit.
He's also it's not showing it really much here, but he is mobile. He's very mobile.
Yes. Now
So he can run.
that's one of the things, where we kind of deem Dart a little bit is that this is just not a smart play.
That's getting broken
Yeah.
up.
So watch the form here at his throw. He never really gets into it, which that's just bad throwing form. And that's why the ball kind of lofts, and this guy has to come to a complete start. That's probably picked off at the NFL level.
That's the issue with Dart is sometimes he lets his gunslinger style and mindset take over, and he just forces a bad throw. Now, I would say this: we talked about Dylan Gabriel being a guy who played in multiple systems and was successful in multiple systems, and he can adjust well, and he's proven it. There's
Yeah.
history behind it. Dart, on the other hand, he would be the type of guy that I feel if he went to the wrong team would fail
Yeah.
tremendously. Where what I mean fail tremendously.
Look at
is
that, dude.
It's not his fault, but because it's the wrong team and the wrong system
Yeah.
around him and the wrong coaching around him, he's not going to succeed in that. So he needs the right system for him. That's the thing about
Mhm.
Dart.
And so like the running play, for example, he's got a crazy motor, guys. He's got crazy, like he plays with a lot of heart. You see he wears his emotion on his sleeve. He's getting jazzed up on these throws, on these runs. Like he gets into it. So if you're talking about an emotional, high energy leader, he is that. Man, but like, look, he's accurate. Like, the main ding for Dart is that he could be a little bit too much of a gunslinger sometimes. And unfortunately, this is something he's got to learn. Like that, great throw, great catch, touchdown. But at the NFL level, that could easily be picked off. Now, the reason
Yeah.
why it's important is because you watch Bill. We talked about it. Watch Bill Belichick. Watch any of these big time coaches. They're all going to say the same thing. Like, we would rather you just live to see another down, right? Like, don't throw an insanely dumb pass because you want to make a play. We would just rather you see, like, go for another down, because ultimately in the NFL, this is about possessions. It's about chances, and yeah, it may be a highlight, but it also may be a low light, and you gotta be smart with the ball.
Exactly.
He's a little bit too much of a gunslinger, but like if someone can rein him in, it's, by the way, it's Sean McVay. Like Sean McVay can coach the hell out of a quarterback.
I mean that's why it's a good fit for us. Like if we're
Yes.
talking about good fits, he would be a great fit for us because this would be like if we're talking about an ideal QB for McVay to mold into a superstar. I'm
Yes.
talking about a superstar.
He has
See,
superstar
That's
ceiling.
You do.
That's
You got
that's a ceiling for him. So that's a difference between him and Gabriel. Gabriel, he at his ceiling, he would be a really good quarterback. He would run the offense well. He would run it how it's supposed to be. But Jackson Dart, if he hits his ceiling,
Yeah.
would be a superstar, top 5 level potential
Yes.
MVP candidate.
Yeah, no, I could see Dart winning MVPs. By the way, I could see Dylan Gabriel winning MVPs just in a different way. Like Dylan
In a different
Gabriel
way.
having
In a
like an
different way.
Aaron Rodgers type 35 touchdown,
yeah,
4
yeah.
interception season. Like just
Yeah.
his TD to INT ratio like crazy, right? Because he's just so smart with the ball. This guy could put up like 50 touchdowns. Like if he was in the right offense with the right weapons.
Dart could put up 5K yards. And now, like, we're not really like joking here. 5K yards,
Sure.
50 touchdowns, like probably like 10 picks, 11 picks, but he would have that that type of stat line, and that would probably win him MVP.
Yeah, I think his ceiling is really high. But he's not there.
Yeah,
He has a way to go.
That's the thing about Dart, right? His ceiling is extremely high, but his floor is really low. Because,
Sure.
like we said, I think if he goes to the wrong system, if he goes to the wrong team, with
And he
bad
tries to
coaching,
force stuff over and over again,
he
he's
tries to
gonna
force
throw a
stuff
lot
over
of
and over
picks.
again. Exactly, and if he doesn't evolve in that sense, he's gonna struggle and he's gonna be out of the years. And
One of the
what we gotta read
reasons,
is maybe he's gonna end up being a backup. Like that's
one of the reasons why we say he's a good fit is because he does seem to really be smart and find the right guy, the open guy. But like Stafford, sometimes he just takes too many chances. Like he's the kind of guy who thinks he can fit every ball into every hole and every window, and that's like that throw. Who was dangerous, man?
yeah, that was
That's
that
a
was
dangerous throw.
that's a Stafford throw right there.
Yeah, that's one that has you holding your breath until it gets into the
See,
receiver's
there's
arms.
there's a positive and there's a negative to that. Positive that he is confident enough where he can fit that throw. And that can
And
work
by the
out.
way, he's going to successfully do it a lot
Yeah,
until he
will
does.
do it a lot. But the negative downside to that is that there will be times where he makes that throw and he throws that ball and it's going to be a pick. So that you'll have to understand that's what you're getting with Dart, is that he will make those amazing throws, but at the same time, there is a risk of those throws being
I
detrimental.
love his
And
runs
that's something
sometimes.
he can work on for sure. But that is something that is part of his
So
quarterbacking
Joe,
DNA.
who do you prefer over Dart and Dylan Gabriel?
If I had to choose between the two, oh, that's a good question.
Because you tend to be a little bit more of a you tend to like a little bit more of the higher risk guys, I think, than
Yeah.
me and OJ are really about efficiency.
Me
Yep.
like Dylan. I would want Dylan because he could start. He would start faster.
Yeah.
Jackson might have to sit for a year or two, but if I had to choose, it would probably be Dart. Only because, like you said, I tend to favor the guys who take risks because I just feel like the superstar ceiling. If you can get a QB that can hit it,
Yeah.
it just raises your ceiling of
Yeah.
the team that much higher. But if we had Dylan, I wouldn't be mad at all. I would love Dylan. I think that he would be able to start the city year, then he ready next year automatically to run his offense. So either or, but if it was I had to choose, it would be Dart though.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have different preferences in that stuff,
Yeah,
so
I mean
that totally
and
makes
that's
sense.
completely fair. I mean, it's just a preference thing.
So
Both would be great.
yeah, I mean, This is why these guys are. Not only are these guys are on our list of like favorite guys, also they're very likely to be available. I mean, Jackson Dart could
Yeah.
very well fall to 26, or we could trade up a few spots if Sean like has to have him. Trade up to 20. I think he's pretty much definitely going to be there.
And that's why, if people were wondering why we highlighted them three and not like Shador or Ward, Shador or Ward are like great in their own right, but it's based off what is realistic for the Rams. What's reachable for the Rams? And
I
those
don't
three
see
guys are
Sean
reachable.
trading up for a quarterback, to be honest.
No.
Not like Fisher did with Goff.
Yeah, that's like Ward and Shador. It's different trading up for a guy that's top 5. That's not gonna happen. Yeah.
All right, next,
The champion.
Will Howard. Let me find a smaller one. Okay.
Now this guy might be I feel like for some Rams fans might be a bit surprising because I've noticed some Rams fans have mixed opinions on him.
I don't know why, man. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if maybe if they actually watched the film or not, but I've seen some mixed opinions. On him, but I don't
Alright.
get it. Like, he's a good quarterback.
Will Howard, champion Ohio State. Let's take a look. 6'4", 236, 32-inch arms, smaller hands, but this is all prototypical. 6'4", 236, 32. I mean, not bad scores down here either. He had a pretty decent RAS score. I think it was like 876, so pretty decent. Statistically, he really didn't pop until this last year with Ohio State, where he threw for 73% completion percentage, 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, a little bit higher on the interception ratio as over the last two guys. He wasn't bad the year before at Kansas State, but obviously he's hit a new plateau.
I think
as a fifth-year
that
senior.
could be. I think that's possibly the knock is that.
I was just about to say that, OJ. Yeah. That could
Yeah,
be
I
the
feel
knock.
like maybe people are thinking that okay, he's struggled and I guess at Kansas State where it was a lesser offense, maybe lesser talent, and then he went to such a talent. Like last year, Ohio State was the most talented roster. Like, they had an amazing. They had 2 starting quality running backs. They had 3 really good receivers. They had a solid tight end. They had a great O-line.
They were stacked really.
So they people could be looking at that. Oh yeah, he had a perfect system, so they could be thinking for that. But again, we'll watch.
Let the film speak to you. Watch the act. So in a comp, it's going to be a lazy comp because it's not really super accurate. But Will Howard really is a Jared Goff type, accurate on-time thrower running the system. He's kind of the definition of a system quarterback.
He is. It's not lazy. It's who he is. He is
So he's not gonna wow you very often. He's really just gonna put the ball on the right target pretty accurately. 73% completion percentage doesn't happen by accident. But let's take a look at Will Howard at Ohio State last year. Nice play action, by the way, rolling out, accurate throw on the sidelines. I mean, look, that even looked like Jared Goff. That's a little fade. He had some great fade targets this year. His play, by the way, his play action game is pretty immediately. This is what he's not like Jared Goff. Like, he actually runs pretty well, but his play action game is really good. It's probably the best we've seen so far. He throws a great ball, guys. He throws a great ball. That's what it boils down to, right? It's like being smart, throwing a nice ball.
He throws a very catchable ball.
Look at all these tight window throws, man. His play action game is actually pretty good. He's got a really good play action.
In a way that he is similar to Gabriel is that he knows how to throw a receiver in stride.
Yes.
Which some guys struggle with. I would say that is some similarity with Goff. Is Goff knows how to throw to guys in stride. He hits guys in motion where they can take the ball and run afterwards for extra yards. Yeah. That is something that he's good at.
And you're gonna watch him a lot throwing to the boundaries, throwing up the seams. Like, he has a lot of pro level throws. Like, that's a pro throw right there. Like, that is a pro throw. An out route into the end zone. That's legit. And then the freaking streak. That's a little underthrown. Pretty underthrown.
That was
his arm strength also is not the best. That's one of the other things.
By the way, for a guy that he is 6'4", he doesn't have a strong arm. Like, he doesn't have crazy zip on the ball. That
Jackson Dart has a stronger arm. In fact, Dylan Gabriel might have a stronger arm as well.
No, Dylan Gabriel has a stronger arm. I think definitely.
But you're talking about a guy here's an interesting comp. This guy kind of reminds me of like a supercharged Jimmy Garoppolo. Really not going to do a whole lot more than run the offense really well. But he could do it really well. and it could be a knock on him, like Ohio State was stacked, but like if you put the right team around him, he could shine, which is what he did last year at Ohio State. He can also run a little bit like Jimmy can actually. I would say he's. Go ahead.
He reminds me a little bit. Not this guy in college played different, but the new how he played now is a little bit of Geno Smith a little bit.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
that.
because Geno Smith in college played a little different, more dynamic. But as he evolved his game now,
Great
Geno
throw.
Smith plays a lot like this. He can run the ball.
He's a great
Things
play
just
action quarterback. His
that's
fakes
great.
are really
Yeah,
good.
By the way,
yeah.
I'm noticing a
That's
lot of
good
these
stuff.
plays that Ohio State are running is very similar
Yes,
to what we run.
I
A lot of
agree. I was
these,
thinking that too.
a lot of these drags, a lot of these crossers, McVay loves those. We
Yeah,
have a lot of those bunch formations, the motions, the fakes.
the vast
And by the way,
majority,
he's actually a pretty solid athlete as well. Like he can run a bit.
the
Like
vast
he's not like
majority of
crazy,
his
but
throws though you see is like intermediate kind of pro level throws.
yeah.
Post, streaks, outs, curls. He's right. He's a lot of intermediate stuff, a lot of stuff to the outside and in the seams. But like that play right there is just making the right decision at the right time against a really good Penn State team. Pressure in his face, avoids the pressure really well. Beautiful throw right over the arms of the defender.
They do a lot. They do a lot of play action, dude.
A lot of play
Yeah.
action. By the way, I love that. Play action is one of Sean's bread and butters.
Man, what? That's
I mean
how everything.
that automatically. I mean that makes that's why like that's another reason why.
All right. Look. Let's just do Ohio State sweep. We're gonna take Agupa in the first. We're gonna take Will Howard in the second, and we'll take Travion Henderson in the third. All right. We'll just take the trio, and
Hey man, let's do it.
that wouldn't be a
Just
bad
like-
offense, bro.
The Ohio State.
Bro, look at him throwing under pressure. Oh, like he's under pressure a lot in these plays. He the little RPOs they do. You know, by the way, Sean talking about becoming a little bit more, having some more variety, more dynamic. What was the word he used?
Versatile.
Versatile. This guy gives you some versatility. He runs some RPOs, but like, look, that's just a good throw at the right time. Like, he's running the offense. Not every throw has to be a freaking highlight. Sometimes you just got to make the right throw at the right time to the right guy.
I mean that's the thing, right? Like nowadays, everyone like I said, I mentioned it before. Everyone is looking for the guy who can make the crazy throw. But sometimes, like, and then what it comes down to, the main thing is that can you do the fundamental stuff?
Correct.
Because even if you can make the crazy throws of this and that, if you can't do the stuff, you're not going to have that level of success in the NFL.
Totally agree. And this guy's fundamentals are pretty solid.
Yeah.
In fact, I just love the fact that he's so adept at the play action. Like his fakes are
I
actually
mean,
really
this guy
good.
also would be another guy like Dylan Gabriel, who would be a smooth transitioning.
Yes, I
Ohio
agree.
State runs a very similar offense, so it's the play actions. The
Look at
crossers, the
his
drags,
footwork
the
is great,
motions.
man. His off that was a great play right there. Avoided pressure, stepped up in the pocket. This one getting
That,
hit
that
as he
was another
throws.
good throw. He got hit.
He's fearless,
guy
man. He
by-
gets hit a lot.
yeah.
He's fearless.
By the way, he's another guy that
Oh my
carries.
gosh, that was
his,
feathered in.
He also carries his motions on his sleeve. I watched him in the Ohio State game.
Yeah.
He was hyped, like after making throw after throw, he was hyping himself up, hyping his guys up. Like he's very much an emotional guy.
That was a great throw on the boundaries right there, man. Look at he's getting hit a lot in the last couple of minutes of these highlights, and he's delivering strikes, bro. Great boundary throw. Like you see Puka catching that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see Puka catching balls from this guy. What a great throw. Okay,
Man,
go ahead.
I mean, I just say to the Rams fans that had some doubt in Will Howard. I mean, we showed it right here. I mean, if we're talking about like maybe because my guess, like I said, is that maybe these Rams fans are trying to look for like that crazy dynamic QB. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, that's Will Howard is not that. But we showed you that this is what he is. He's
Yeah.
a guy that he'll do his job. He'll make the right reads. He'll make the right throws. He's already, by the way, fits the offensive scheme because Ohio State runs a very similar offense to us. Play action, motions, drags, crossers, bunch routes, all that stuff. Like he already is a perfect fit in that sense. So, yeah.
Exactly. I agree, man. I think Willard will be a good fit, man. Like we just said, he's not super, dynamic, and his ceiling may be a little lower than the other two guys. So
Yeah.
if you could stick him in this offense, let him sit. I think he's probably the same thing with all three of them actually. Well, a little bit because I want Dart to sit for maybe two, but with Howard sit him a year, then he could plug right in the
Yeah.
offense. And then I like him that he's doing threadish to where he's more of like a Josh Allen type runner to where it's more physical than
Yeah,
speed. So
Yeah.
I kind of like that, especially in the red zone. We could use that a lot. So Will Howard would be a nice fit, man. I would
Yeah,
love
instead of Stafford trying to run the RPO, maybe Will
Yeah, yeah.
Howard.
Exactly. The Stafford RPO stuff. I remember we tried to run it one time.
That was something else.
It's crazy, dude. It was disgusting.
Hey, McVay talked about it as well. Remember, I think it was like a year or a year or two ago that him wanting in the future
Mm-hmm.
a guy like obviously he wants a guy we talked about he wants a guy who's a pocket passer, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day he also wants a guy who's ability who can run, who has athleticism. So yeah, they're primarily
Mhm.
pocket passer, right? But if they had
Yeah.
if they need to run and they have that skipability, they can do that. All these three of these guys can do that.
Yeah, Les Snead said it when he was talking on the. I think he was doing an interview with the Rams guys. He was saying that it was a while back, but he was just saying that they're looking for a mobile QB.
Yeah.
QB that's mobile. That's what they want.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I think I think we got a lot to look forward to. I'm really hopeful we draft a guy this year. I think Jackson's gonna be a first rounder. I think Dylan's gonna be a second rounder. I think Will actually might make it to the third round. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
just
can
depending on how high of a pick we want to pay for a quarterback, but like we could get a future starter in any of the first 3 rounds of the draft.
Quick question. So let's just say we stay at 26 and Dylan and Dart is right there. In the Rams pick either one of those guys, would you be mad of us using
No.
our first rounder on a QB?
Not even not even a little.
no, because first off it's a late first rounder,
Yeah.
so it's kind of in
Yeah.
the range where I would pick one of them. And on top of that, like Jackson Dart is gonna go in the first round. I mean, he has the upside as well. We talked about it. He has that. I know if the Rams are picking Jackson Dart in the first round, I know Sean McVay and let's see like this is our guy for the future. And I trust them in that sense. And the same thing would be Dylan Gabriel. And
Yeah.
even if they pick a guy like Will Howard in the second and third, I know like okay, we believe that this is our guy, and I trust them in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be too mad if we got Dylan there.
Yeah.
Dylan and Dart in the first round, and then of course if we make it in the third, if he's still there, Will Howard.
I would trade up to the end of the second for Will, I think.
Even then, yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's perfectly fine.
I mean, if they believe in him, if they believe he's the guy, then yeah, I wouldn't be mad about that at all. Now the last guy we have on our list is Curtis Rourke, and let's go ahead and just look at his stats. We're not going to watch film on him. We don't want to go too long here, but Rourke had an amazing season in Indiana. 3,000 yards, almost 70% completion, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, super accurate. Just go check out his film, guys. Rourke is a bit of a. I would compare him to Will Howard and just say he's like kind of like a poor man's Will Howard a little bit. He does not run at all. He's pretty strictly a pocket passer. But yeah, check out Rourke as like he's much more of a project, I think. He is a fifth-year starter, but he's much more of a project. So check him out. Now let's go ahead and make a transition over to the receivers. And we kind of all agree a receiver's on the table, right? I mean, Tutu's only on a 1-year contract. Technically, we could pretty easily get out of the Devontae Adams contract after 1 year if that becomes necessary. The only guy we have that's kind of like solidified as a part of our future right now is Puka. Even Whittington, I mean, he hasn't played enough to be solidified as a part of our future at receiver. So we only have one bona fide future receiver right now on the team. Even Adams is probably not going to be here more than 2 years at the most. So we've highlighted some guys. Now we didn't go for T-Mac. He is going to be a top 5 pick, probably maybe top 10 at the latest. So we didn't go with him. So our top 3 options are going to be Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, and Jaden Higgins, who all 3 could very well be available at the 26th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
And then we've highlighted Savion Williams, and we are actually going to watch his film because he's really interesting. But let's start with our guy Luther Burden. You guys are both Mizzou fans. I am as well,
Yeah.
just not as hardcore as you guys. Why don't you guys give us a little teaser about Luther Burden?
You want to? Well,
No, Joe, I mean, yeah, Joe, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I
I
go
know,
say
I know
about
you're
Luther.
excited about this, so
Yeah, so Luther, like you said, I have Mizzou bias. So whether or not people use the right thing or not, but I do have Mizzou bias. And with Luther, this year specifically, he wasn't amazing. Just because of he made some nice plays, but he wasn't amazing. Just 'cause the offense sort of bogged down. Offensive coordinator was awful. Our quarterback, Brady Cook, we're not going to say his name ever in any
yeah,
discussions. Brady Cook is just
it's,
a bad quarterback.
yeah, Brady Cook
And
is, yeah,
he's the reason why this year that Luther wasn't great. And if a Rams fan out there you want to watch Luther, I would watch his 2020. He's the same player. He was healthy both years, so it's not like he got a drop off. So I would watch his 2023 film. And Luther, the reason why he would fit us so well, he's a slot guy and he's amazing after the catch. He's a nice route runner. He's not like the elite route runner, but he's a nice route runner. He could do that. He has sure hands. And the one thing I love about Luther is extremely competitive, and Luther always thinks he's the best player on the field every time he touches the field. So that's just one thing I like about my receivers, man, that he's going to get on the field all, and Luther cares about the game. And that's just one of the things I love about Luther. OJ could talk about it more because he's a Mizzou fan just like me, but Luther is great and he would fit in this system a lot.
yeah. I mean, like Joe said, he cares about winning. I mean, he's a guy that he carries his emotions on his sleeve. Like you can tell, like if something this like if there's a bad play or if it's a bad try or this and that, he'll show it. He will like, this can't like this is bad. Like we have to improve upon. Like he'll show his emotions out on the field. He show it on the sideline because he cares. And that's the thing. I'd rather a guy show their emotions and obviously not in a negative way, but like in a
Yeah.
passionate way where they care,
Yeah.
than a guy who's very nonchalant and doesn't care. Because it shows me that they don't have interest. He has interest, and obviously we're talking about it skill set wise.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams are talking about playing Tutu Atwell a slot role. We have our reserves about that. He's only on a 1 year contract. We're gonna need a slot receiver going forward. And Luther
Yeah.
Burden, if we're talking about that role, he fits perfectly. He's
Well,
a guy
and
that we can
he's
use.
also he also brings a
No,
versatility.
he can play. No, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I'm saying like especially
Yeah,
he can play outside. He's played outside. Like he can play outside, but like if we're talking about like
But Sean
his
likes that,
best
by the
bet-
way. Sean likes to rotate
yeah,
guys.
absolutely. So like he's a guy that also he can play as a in jet sweeps and handoffs. He's
Yep.
amazing. Like his best ability about him is he can like you put the ball in this guy's hands, he'll make something special out.
Do you guys want to give a comp before we start looking at his stuff?
Um,
A Luther comp.
he's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Can I give you one? Somebody he reminds me of a bit. He reminds me a bit of Garrett Wilson.
Garrett a little bit. Yeah, I like the Garrett comp. He's kind of Garrett. It's not too many guys that
He's
a
very
slot
similarly
guy,
he's
but
very
they got
similarly
the catch.
sized. They're both fast. They're both
Yeah.
good after the catch. They both have good hands. It's kind of I don't know. Just
You
maybe
know what's funny? And it's crazy to say this because the guy is super young. He's literally like he's Neighbors is a little bit juiced up more, but he sort of has like a Neighbors comp to him a little
Okay.
bit. Neighbors is better on the
Okay.
outside. It's probably more explosive, but they're both super good after catch, and they both sort of play the game sort of the same way. It's sort of like a Neighbors comp a little bit. It's crazy to say because Neighbors is super young, but
so
that's sort of my comp him a little bit.
combine. Luther actually he was bigger than expected. 6 feet, 206, long arms, tiny hands, really small hands. But a 4.41 40-yard dash, 1.54 10-yard split they're both really good. Now, to what Joe was talking about earlier, he had a big time down year this year, but so did most of the Mizzou offense. But he was excellent the last year in 2023. This may actually end up being of benefit because he was being projected in the top 10 before he kind of had a down year this year.
Yep, before you had the down year, dropping down the board.
But let's take a look at his film from last year. This is Luther in 2023. A little screen action. We do like to run some screens.
This is what we're gonna see a lot of right here.
Screens.
That's just what he wants.
Screens, quick passes.
There's another quick pass. Oh no, sweep play.
Sweeps, like, I mean, that's his best ability. He can also line up outside. He can also do that. And he's also good at that. Like we see here,
Got some great hands.
he's great. He's great at tracking the ball. He's amazing at tracking the ball for a guy that's not like a 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guy.
Yeah.
He's 6 foot. He's amazing at tracking the ball. I think we're gonna see here again. Yeah,
Just double coverage
This is
doesn't
just a-
matter.
I mean that's just amazing concentration right there. Like that's an NFL catch.
Yeah.
That was underthrown. He had to come back over his shoulder, over his head. Just
Yeah.
like-
But look at that. That is
Look at
like,
that.
by
See,
the way,
that's-
that's Ram. That's Ram right there. Look
That
how
right
fast
there-
he turns after catching the ball. He's
That's what
zip.
makes him special. Look how quick he is. His quickness is insane.
Yeah, the yak ability is no joke, guys.
No joke.
By the way,
That's
that's the
a
kind of
guy-
guy that Sean likes, because what Sean likes to do is put the ball into his playmakers' hands and watch them work, and he does that.
Yeah.
He's
He's
got
also-
he's got a bit of a deep threat to him too, though.
also-
Look at
he's
that
actually
wobbly
al-
throw,
A horrible throw, by the way. I can't say it enough.
dude. He's got
how
great
awful-
he's got great tracking skills.
how awful Brady Cook is, but yeah, he's an underrated deep threat. Primarily, people view him as a slot and a yak guy, but like we're seeing here, a lot of it
Great seamer out there.
because he has good speed. He is very good at game speed. By the way, I feel like he could have done I feel like his 40 wasn't even I feel like he could have done a 4.3 40.
Yeah, it's
I feel like he
definitely
would've been
possible.
better.
I
at
thought
sporty.
he
Yeah.
would have been faster.
Well,
Yeah.
so he's faster game speed than he is in his
Yeah, he's a
underwear.
guy that in his game speed he looks faster than his for sure.
Look at that route though. Just keeping it simple, man. He knew he didn't need to do much to beat that guy into that corner route. So
Dude, having him in the slot would be just something serious, and a lot of motion with him too.
But look at that, man. That's a hospital.
he has a
ball.
solid build to him.
Yeah, he does.
He's not small, by the way. He's 6'2", 205", so he's pretty he could take hits. Like here, look, he takes his hit like a man.
There's something to
Shows
be
that guy
said
off.
about a guy who just doesn't waste movement and gets into space. Like some guys get real cute with the route running. He is
Yeah,
just
they do too
going
much.
to the
He
space
doesn't-
and making himself an open receiver for Brady Cook,
Yep.
who's trash.
I mean, that was just a simple slant route, but that's sometimes all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's just simple, just cut in, out. There you go. I mean, he's very smooth. Like it's effortless when he runs his routes. It's very
That throw was so late, bro. So late. Look at this yak, dude. His
Just
yak
look at
ability.
this.
is no
Oh
joke.
my god, bro.
Hey, let's talk about this guy. This is a Rams pet peeve. Somebody sold out here. Homeboy here
Yeah,
didn't even
dude,
try to
he's-
block. 8. What is 8 doing? No, 5. It's
Number
5.
5.
What is
5 and 8?
5. What do you? These are trash blocks,
5 and 8. By the way, 5 and 8. You get those blocks. as
bro.
touchdowns.
Look at this. That is a piss poor attempt at a block. But look at 5 here, just walking. And oh, I forgot. My bad. Okay, 5. You're cut.
5
He's the
5 and 8 both.
Hey,
block.
you know who blocks?
Touchdown.
Rams receivers block.
Yep.
Great catch
that.
over
By
the
the way,
middle.
That was a. I remember that play.
That game was crazy.
That was
man.
that game was crazy. We needed that. That was literally 20 seconds left. Just to,
I would have liked to have seen him drift more into the open space because, like, you're watching him here,
yeah.
and I would have liked to seen him come a bit more here, especially with such a bad quarterback. It's like he's like open. Actually, I wonder if that throw was to the other guy.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell with the Brady Cook.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking.
Hard to tell, dude.
So he's lined up in a weird spot there, right on the line, right in the line.
And then this stuff right here. This is the stuff that Cup used to do.
Yeah, but I mean it's a Sean Staple, isn't it?
It's literally like that's how versatile he is. He can line up anywhere in the field. He can run pretty much all the routes. He's just good at everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so when
Yes.
we're talking about a guy, that's what we put such a high score. He has a 9 score on the Rams fit is because he's versatile like Sean likes. He's good after the catch. He makes himself an open target. Like he's got a lot of those intangibles that it seems like Sean prefers. So he's definitely a great fit. He's gonna drop down a little bit.
By the way, we have to remember he had Brady Cook throwing him the ball,
Which really hurt
He
him.
had a bad-
which
he
really
had a
hurt
bad
him.
piece on the ball.
So
And
getting
then
an NFL
the
level
offense last year wasn't creative at all.
exactly, and on top of that, the offensive for some reason Mizzou just the way that they formatted their offense just didn't make any sense. Like
You're
Luther
talking
Burden
about
was
a
just
couple guys who watched every game, guys.
yeah, I mean, literally Luther Burden. Like at times, it felt like he wasn't even involved in the gameplay, and you could see on the sideline. I don't blame him. He was frustrated. I
Man,
could
it was
tell.
the if some guys remember it was the South Carolina game towards the end of the season. He was barely touching the ball.
All right,
He
Yeah,
touched it. He finally got a TD at the end.
you
But
guys ready
just
for the
yeah,
next guy?
yeah,
yep.
was it Matthew Golden?
Now
We're gonna watch Matthew Golden.
Matthew
And
Golden.
you ready for the Matthew Golden comp? It's like a little bit of a more dynamic Brandon Cooks. That's
Yeah.
my comp for Matthew Golden. In fact, check him out. He is 5'11", 190, decent size arms and hands, 4'2", 40, and a 149 split. That is very similar to Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Measurements very similar. Now he played at Texas. He got transferred to Texas last year. 987 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's a solid season, especially when you have Quinn Ewers throwing you the football.
What was that score?
And by the way, Texas offense was primarily
He was at
running
Houston.
offense.
Oh, okay. He was over Tank Dell, I think, that first year. Okay.
Yeah, and then let's
Texas was primarily a running offense as well.
Correct.
So that was also another factor. He wasn't like the main part.
he is a deep speed threat. That is his primary. Like he's not a super versatile. He is primarily a deep threat. In fact, what did he have? 17 yards a catch. So just be prepared. But like, imagine we've been talking about how much we've missed a Brandon Cooks type player. This guy is a Brandon Cooks type player. So he has the speed. By the way, it shows up in film, and he's great at catching balls. He's even, I mean, like Brandon Cooks might drop that bad boy, to be honest. Hey, that's even similar to Brandon Cooks'
Yeah,
celebration.
See, he has to actually de-accelerate here.
I
If that's
know.
a better throw and stride. That's probably a touchdown.
Now imagine Jackson Dart throwing to Matthew Golden, and we're cooking.
That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, that would
Yeah.
be fun.
But you're gonna watch this guy going deep a lot because that's really what he did.
By the way,
primarily.
he was also like this is another factor as well that we should bring up because I remember I watched like a pretty good amount of Texas games. He was a clutch receiver.
Yeah,
Whenever Texas needed him to show up and make a big play in the big moments, third down, fourth down, he was always there. He always catches.
yeah. I mean, but he's solid, bro. That was a great one-handed catch on the side. Like
Also,
he
he
has better hands than Brandon Cooks does. He has more secure hands.
He has great hands, by the way. He has great hands, and that would be
Look
would
at
be
that
like the
catch. That's a great catch.
Incredible.
See,
So,
these are the type of
by the
catches
way,
he's making in those moments.
That's an improvisation. He's getting open because Ewers got out of the pocket and needed some help. So watch the replay on this. He actually just points back and runs and gets himself open. Like, look at that. Beautiful.
He puts his hands up and just makes.
He's good at using his body, even though it's not huge. He's good at using his body to create a little space. But look, he's just a deep threat, man. And he's having to turn and contort and twist because these throws are not very good. Matthew Golden is no joke, though. As a deep threat, he could be really good at the NFL level. One-handed
Right
again.
here, the hands, bro. Like that. I would say that's the quality that stands out to me. That I'm.
That
impressed
look at the
most.
route too. Solid route. I mean, he's not rounding it off. He's just running straight. It's a corner route. He's running straight to it. Man, these throws are just not great. But
Again, right here,
really,
if Quinn Ewers actually
great
like,
tracker
had
of the
some-
ball.
If Quinn Ewers had some zip on his ball, but he doesn't, a lot of these would be touchdowns. But he has to kind of
Look at that, bro.
The ball.
That was a
Amazing.
great cut. I want to watch that again. That was actually solid. Let me, because I want to see the he just, it's not an overly complicated route. He's just getting into the space, catching it, and then one cut, go. Turns a pretty mediocre little toss into a freaking huge gain. This we talk about having a weapon though, man. And look, just deep. Catching badly thrown
Yeah,
balls. His body
Wow.
control, his body angles, his contortions of his body, his ability to keep his eye on the ball and have that coordination.
For a
with-
guy that is a smaller receiver, he plays.
Bro, look at this.
In contested catch situations, he plays like he's a 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, I agree.
He can make
Matthew
those
Golden-
contortions.
Matthew
He can make those
Golden's
adjustments. Like look
He's
at that
a
right
fast
there.
player.
That right there is a play like you would see from a guy who's.
And if you
larger
guys
size.
if you guys notice, he's all hands. He's not using his
Yeah.
body. He's all hands receiver, man, all the time.
Matthew
He's not
Golden,
letting
he
the
kept-
ball.
he kept up the board.
He's not letting the ball come to him. he's attacking the ball. That's what a receiver's supposed to attack the ball.
Yep.
Even like wide open throws like that, he's using his hands.
Joe, you said you think he's gonna climb up the board.
I say he's been climbing up a lot of
Yeah,
people.
he's
You think he's gonna get above 26? We're gonna have to trade up for him if we want him.
possibly.
I think so. I think he's going to be above 20. I think he's going to be in that 15.
Hey, I wouldn't be like, look, Sean was trying to trade for Brock Bowers. He's not shy to the idea of trading up for a weapon he thinks
See,
is going to
here's
be a
the thing,
difference
right?
maker.
I'm not against Sean McVay trading up for someone because I know that it's someone he really likes.
Yeah.
And he loves. If he's gonna trade up for an offensive player, it's somebody he not just likes, he loves that player.
Dude, this guy reminds me of Brandon Cooks even more watching it again. He just so because Brandon Cooks doesn't try to do too much even after the catch. He's just trying to use his speed. He's just trying to use his speed
Yeah.
to get into the open spot.
That right there is literally Brandon Cooks. Sideline
Yeah.
throw using the feet,
Toe taps, yeah.
toe
Brandon,
tap in.
see, like he's not even. He just one. That's so Brandon Cooks like, man. That little
Brandon
throw.
Cooks is like that.
Yeah.
Whenever he catches the ball and he has space, he just goes.
Yeah,
He's not trying to do like anything crazy. Like
that was sweet.
that
Though.
right there was a nice play.
The next one.
Yeah, I talk about not doing anything crazy, then he does that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Quinn Ewers
He's
and all
right
his
there, man.
goofy arm angles.
That was
bro.
that right there. For some reason, Quinn Ewers nice to throw off balance off one leg, but that was a bad throw. But makes the adjustment.
Just gotta use that
Right there,
speed,
look at
man.
that.
You just gotta use
right
that
there,
speed.
like that right there, like is just a simple move, but you just
Yeah.
stop and go. His acceleration is crazy as well.
Yeah, that 10-yard split is no joke, man. He reminds me so much of Brandon Cooks. It's actually much.
I see him even more.
I
now.
Yeah.
I see the Brandon Cooks.
They literally play just alike.
They
Yeah,
do,
it's
dude.
literally-
His
it's
celebration
literally
is
the
even the same. Look, Brandon Cooks does the arrow thing, and he does the little point. Like, dude, it's so similar. That was a great play.
This
That was
guy's
actually a
literally
good throw. That was Quinn's best throw of the video.
I mean, this way he's a more dynamic version of Brandon Cooks.
That's what
That's
I'm
he
thinking.
is. Yeah, he honestly might even have. I think he has better hands.
He
Like,
does
from
have better
What I've
hands.
seen, like Brandon Cooks would have some concentration drops and like catches he should make. This guy, like contested wise, like he plays like I said, he plays like he's 6'3", 6'4".
The reason we gave him a 9 score on the Rams fit is because we already know of a player that he's very similar to that was a great fit in the Rams system. So,
Yep.
with Brandon Cooks.
Exactly.
So, all right, now this last guy, guys. This is the treat. This is the treat, and he could even fall to the third round. He's not really. Is he? How high is he being projected right now?
I don't think he's
Hey,
projected.
Higgins,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
I think Higgins is second round guy because every time I go through mocks, he's always like second round, late second round, around that area right there.
Okay. So let's pull up his. I'm pulling up his stuff right now. We're gonna have some fun with this guy. Now,
Now this guy right here.
by the way, this guy has no comp.
He is something that I haven't really seen before. And that's a crazy statement to make, but the film, honestly, I'm not going to really say much. I'm going to just let the film speak for
You know
it.
what he is, bro?
Say that.
To me, he's like a taller Keenan Allen. Look, he's like that. Like
But he's a lot faster and a lot
He's
more
a lot
athletic.
faster.
he's more
He's a lot.
explosive.
He's smooth. He's
It's just
extremely
they're
smooth.
they're technicians, man. He's a technician. There's technicians with their route running. It's,
He's
you know, I
he's
would-
more than a technician though. He's athletic. See, that's. I mean, obviously, like the film. When we show the film, I mean, that's the. I actually would if we can show it in the film here because this is something that Rams fans need to see because this is a guy that
Mhm.
if we don't pick a Luther Burden or if we don't pick like a guy in the first or like a Matthew Golden, for example, right? This guy would be available in the second, potentially the third, depending how it falls, and he
Right.
has that ceiling to be a great receiver.
Okay, so let me show you this first. This is the 2025 mock average. His average rank is 55th, so he's being late second is kind of where he's.
Oh, he's a
sitting.
late second.
By the way, let's take a look at some of the other guys that we've been talking about. Dylan Gabriel, where is he being mocked to? Dylan Gabriel's being mocked to 5th round, 140.
Fifth round?
Oh, he was mocked into the 2nd round for a while though. See right here. Man, if we can get Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd, bro,
If we
I'm
get
gonna go
Gabriel
crazy.
in the third or fourth round. I would be so ecstatic. I'd be like, oh,
Hey,
thank you,
If he
Lee.
falls to the fourth, I'll be happy if he falls to the fourth.
Dude,
Oh,
okay,
that's
so
literally a
you
steal.
Jackson Dart is going early 2nd right now. early second.
Honest, that's
Who?
probably that's probably gonna keep going up and up probably.
Will Howard is going 4th round.
Okay.
So take Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard in the 3rd. I'm happy camper. Who else did we looked at? Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Luther's going end of the 1st.
Yeah, this makes sense because
And then
statistically his.
who did we
stats
just
are
watch? We watched
Golden.
Golden.
Golden. What's his name? Matthew Golden.
Matthew. Yeah.
Okay, Matthew Golden is going. They got him. So he jumped from like a late pick to 20th.
Yeah.
20th. You nailed that, Joe.
Yeah, he's rising every day.
All right, so Jaden Higgins, Iowa State, guys. 4'4", first of all, 6'4", 214 pounds, 33 and an 1/8 arms, crazy long arms. He's got some insane length. But a 4.47 is solid speed, great 10-yard split, and then really explosive vertical and broad jump. So athletically, he's a bit of a freak of nature. Statistically, he in his junior year, so he must have sat out his freshman year. He had 983 yards, 6 touchdowns at Iowa State, and then this last year as a senior, he was almost 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. So he's a bit of a beast. Now, what we want to talk about what we want to highlight before we even watch this film is you're talking about a guy who's 6'4", and we want you guys to pay attention specifically to his feet and his route running ability. He has a freakish route running ability for a guy this size.
This is what
really
stood
good
out to me. This is what I think why like he could be a potential steal like as like a 2nd or 3rd rounder.
Totally. Let's take a look. So he's big boy up here. Or no, he's big boy down here. They have 2 big guys. First of all, oh, by the way, he's got crazy hands. Great body control. Crazy
By the way,
hands.
like if we're talking about like a typical big body 6'4" guy, he does all those things well. Like
Yes.
he boxes out, he has great hands, he's great in contested catch situations.
Just yanked that away. That was an interception. Got
That
both
was a
feet.
bad
Got
throw.
both feet in
That-
downs. Terrible.
That
throw.
was a bad that's also by the way how not to throw a fade.
Look at the throw. Oh my! This is what we're talking about. It's hard to see because some of it's cut off, but you can see it, right? Look at the footwork of this guy.
look how
Look how he
smooth
cooks
is
it.
here.
Pitter patter, inside hesitation, and then out. And the guy was cooked. The guy had his whole body turned around, like absolutely
He runs
cooked.
routes like he's 6'5'11", 5'10", and that's
Yeah.
just not normal.
In the slot, by the way.
Watch this.
Look at that.
Oh my!
Cooked him. Terrible throw. Still
Nasty.
caught it. No big deal.
Like his footwork, like in a way, like I'm not saying obviously he's Cooper Cup, but Cooper Cup was a master with his feet. He was so good at chopping his feet and breaking it in and out on his routes.
By the way, that
This
had good chop on the feet, and then he also
This
used
guy
his
is-
size to create some space at the top
This
of the route.
guy is extremely good at chopping his feet. He's that chops his feet, can break in and out either way.
Great
and
hands, man.
That's how he creates that separation.
Joe, what are you thinking about Higgins, man?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, dude. Like, when I say technician, I don't mean like that's all his game. I don't.
Yeah.
Straight technician. I
Talking
just
about
mean,
route
like,
running.
Yeah, specifically his route
Yeah.
running. To me, it's so technical. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
And it's so rare to see that out of a young guy. And like I was gonna say earlier, I wish he had a video. I wish I could just watch a video, just somebody specifically just honing in on his route running.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's so special to have at that young age, and it's only gonna get better at the NFL level. And it's like a Devontae Adams type of thing, where it's like Devontae Adams is a technician too, but then Devontae Adams also has the speed. He could, he has a long speed. Devontae Adams has a great hand. So that's sort of like a comp a little bit. Devontae Adams a little bit. Of course.
I actually
knows
like
what-
that. It's like a
He-
6'4"
he-
Devontae.
He
Yeah.
creates so much space with his feet and his actual
feet.
route running itself. Like, watch it.
Yeah.
His hesitations,
look.
his feet. It's just, bro.
It's just a crazy the amount of separation he's able to create, and also his release. He has
Yeah.
a quick release, so he can get into that
Look
motion.
how bad
of
this quarterback
chopping
is.
his feet quickly. Yeah, but I always say his quarterback. Yeah, wasn't great.
Yeah, man, it's just so special to see route running at that young age. Man.
Yeah.
It's special to see.
Yeah, but watch the way he
A lot of
breaks
big
out of
guys
this.
Don't
That's
have
kind of
that,
couldn't
man.
see that one. But look at his hands, bro. He's catching.
Tracking.
He reminds you of Mike Evans a lot on the
Concentration.
deep balls. He's
Yeah.
really good at tracking, using his body.
Mhm.
Look at that quick stop and his
That's
spin and go.
Oh my
Bro,
God,
he's
bro.
got.
Like, that's beautiful, man.
He's so much
That-
quicker than a guy like Mike Evans, though. So much
I mean,
like
that's
Drake
crazy.
London, way
Like
way quicker.
Mike Evans and Drake London, they don't have the ability.
Did you
to
guys see the
stop
little
on a dime
hesitation
like
there?
that.
Look at how he throws off this guy at the top of the route with the little hesitation to the outside. The guy gets freaking flipped around. Look at look at the corner. He even like stumbles a little bit because the hesitation gets him off balance, and then a great turn,
Yeah.
extra yards.
It's effortless with him too, bro. It's not hard. It don't
Yeah,
look
it
hard.
just
Yeah.
looks so easy.
It's
doesn't it?
crazy that like a guy his size, his ability
Great
to
route, bro.
de-accelerate, his ability to de-accelerate on these cuts, on these spins, like on these, it's just amazing.
Look at the footwork. Look at the hesitation and the kind of fake to the outside, and then the clean break in. Look, bam, he's gone. No contest. Like poor dude didn't stand
Yeah,
a
I mean,
chance.
it's effortless. I mean, like Joe was
Yeah,
saying, like
yeah,
a
yeah.
guy this young having
Yeah.
this advanced level of route running, and it not just being advanced, but smooth and clean, and
Dude, he
consistent as well.
plays fearlessly. He's gonna be a good blocker for the Rams, man.
There's guys in the league that can't run these routes, man, and that do it
Yep.
sloppy.
Yeah,
And he's 6'4".
Yeah,
and that's the thing, like Mike Evans, Drake London, they don't have the ability to stop on the dime, chop their feet just at that speed, and just quickly just make a cut like that.
Yeah.
He can do that as a guy that's like, that is, you would think that he's 6 foot or like 5'10".
Like that. That's a Cooper Cup. That's a Cooper Cup slant, man. Great feet, cuts in hard, ready for the ball, gets in the end zone. Like that's solid, bro. I'm telling you, this is my guy, bro.
Yeah, him, and obviously I have my bias towards Luther Burden, and I'll continue to stay there because obviously he's Mizzou and he's obviously a great player. But since we watched this guy, he's now like he's honestly become a joint favorite player with Luther now. Like
Look at that.
this is just not normal. Like
Not at that size, bro. And here's the thing.
Like,
That makes his
there's
ceiling
not-
crazy, right? Doesn't that make his
there's
ceiling
not-
crazy?
There's not necessarily a straight one-on-one comp. Like
Yeah.
it's like a combination of Mike Evans in the terms of his deep ball ability, his concentration, his catching ability. His,
I'm gonna say it. He actually reminds me of Cooper Cup in the other aspects of the
and
game.
Cooper Cup in the sense of his ability to
The
chop
yak
his
a little
feet,
bit, yeah.
the yak,
Hands,
the quick cuts,
chopping,
and
yeah.
then I would say the smoothness of a Devontae Adams. The Devontae Adams is
Yeah.
extremely smooth with his route running.
Yeah.
Like, it's a combination of those three guys.
That's a great
like,
catch.
There's not just one guy.
You got it, press man.
That's what I said. Like he's
Great
not a
set.
guy
Oh.
that's being talked. He's not getting talked about a lot. He's being projected as a late second, first round, third, like early third.
yeah.
I'm telling you, whoever drafts this guy around that, like if he goes around that like area, they're getting a steal.
I agree.
The ceiling on this dude, I'm telling you, the ceiling on this dude is potentially like top 3 receiver.
Look at the balance too.
I bet all pro level, top 3. Like that's the ceiling of it. That's how good he is.
You love a guy who's hard to bring down, right? Like
And that's the thing as well. Like we talk about like smoothness and his ability just not having to use his body to create routes. He's also physical. Like,
so what have we not seen? We've seen contested catches, we've seen catches in traffic, we've seen tight window catches, we've seen one-handed catches, spectacular catches, great route
maybe,
running.
maybe we ain't seen like the deep ball that crazy, really.
Not
Seen that much.
oh my gosh, guys. That was a wild catch. I don't care if touchdown was called back due to penalty. That was a great catch.
Amazing catch.
All right. So that's freaking Jaden Higgins. So now we've gone over Luther Bird, Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins, our top 3 fits for the Rams, as far as draft position, all that goes. Now we're gonna give you a bonus. We're gonna watch our guy Savion Williams as the bonus honorable mention, and the reason we're gonna do that is because Savion Williams he represents something that Sean McVay talked about earlier in the offseason when he discussed wanting to be more dynamic and more versatile. He talked about the Buccaneers, Bucky Irving and some of the other players they have that make them really versatile. Savion Williams brings a level of versatility that is
Hey, Ethan,
really
real quick,
interesting.
real
And
quick.
yeah,
Could you put Higgins in that database real quick? I just want to see
The
yeah,
Raz score?
No, the mock draft database real quick.
Oh yeah. Let's take a look. I
Just want to see real quick because I was saying late
think
second.
we looked at him first. I think he was late second.
I think he was late second. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking
Oh, you-
55th. 55th.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, I was just making sure. Yeah.
Okay, so Savion's a really interesting guy. And the comp for him is like a talented Debo Samuels.
Oh yeah, talented Debo, man.
In fact,
By the way,
I would say he's a better prospect. Now,
he is a freak. Like he's a specimen.
Freaking nature.
dude,
Like-
he's just a weapon. Now, let's pull up his combine real quick, which is glitching out on me here. Come on, combine. Okay, combine is messed up. Let's pull up his stats. So he really took off his last year as a senior, where he got utilized just as a weapon overall. 660 catches, 611 yards, and then 51 rush attempts for 322 yards, but 933 total scrimmage yards, 12 touchdowns. That's weapon. 8.4 yards per touch. That's a freaking weapon right there, right? It's the combine is still not loading for some reason. Let me go
I
back.
guess that's TCU finally realizing that he's a Swiss Army knife instead of just a straight receiver.
Well, in high school he was a quarterback. This is totally busted.
Which is crazy. Him being able to play three positions like that and going through all three of them is crazy.
Okay, so let's see he's being drafted late in the third, dude. I wouldn't hesitate. I wouldn't hesitate.
Absolutely.
So check this dude out. 6'4", 222 pounds, really long arms, really big hands. Ran a 4.48 and a 1.52 split, which is both really good for a guy that size. We saw the stats. We looked at the draft ranking. Now let's get into the film. Savion, remember, he's a weapon. He's a freak of nature. Just watch this dude and enjoy and imagine. So the reason we actually gave him a pretty favorable split or a Rams fit here of 7.5. And the reason why it's because we're envisioning what Sean would do with him, wanting to be more versatile, wanting to be more dynamic. He brings something to the Rams that we've never had. And the other reason that we should draft him is because if we don't, Kyle Shanahan will take this man. He will take this guy. I'm telling you.
Kyle Shanahan, I'm sure he scouted this guy and he views him as Debo Samuel, like plus.
All right.
Like this is the Debo Samuel replacement, but even better.
You won't understand what we're saying until you get into the film. So let's just get into the
Yeah.
film. Watch Savion Williams run the ball and catch the ball. By the way, that was a slick route. And that
route was
catch was
nasty
filthy.
Nasty route and a horrible throw.
Look at the
and
safety.
amazing
The
catch.
safety's the guy on him. Watch the way he that guy. He's cooked. It's over. And you're thinking, oh, easy throw. He's wide open in the middle. But no, he throws it way behind. He has to flip his body and
By the
dive
way,
behind him.
keep in mind he's 6'4", 220.
Yeah, he's
So
big.
remember
boy.
that when you're watching.
Look at
him
this.
Play,
Look at that. Look, Debo don't have. If that's Debo,
Debo's
Debo, that's
catching
not a
that.
catch.
Debo's
Guaranteed.
not catching that. Debo doesn't have hands like that.
Look at him using his physicality, his body. Great catch. Again, Debo, I don't know if Debo makes that catch. I really
No,
don't.
Debo's not a contested catch guy.
Now, look, he's freaking wildcat it,
Now
guys.
he's playing
Look
his
at the
wi- now
running
this is
ability.
what's
Look at the
special.
patience. Look at the aggressiveness he runs with.
Oh my
This
Dude,
guy
I love
is-
his passion. You can tell he loves ball. You can tell he
I don't want
loves
to
ball.
emphasize this enough. You just saw a guy that's 6'4", 220 move like he's 5'10".
By the way, that was a Texas wheel route. Did you see that? He starts off
Mhm.
in, it's not really the eye, but look, it's that kind of, what did they call that spot? I'm drawing a blank on it, but it's kind of a halfback spot, right? Like a scat back
Yeah.
spot. And he runs the wheel. And then look at the catch, man. Look at the catch in traffic. Two guys on him. High points the crap out of that ball and brings it home. Beautiful catch. Now lined up in the slot. Another garbage throw and another great catch. He has really underrated hands. I feel like he's worked on that a lot. He has really underrated hands. Great diving catch. Fade route. Can he do the fade? Yeah, Debo ain't doing no fades. Makes it look easy. Uses his body to create separation, to create space. Reels it in. Look
Now
at
watch this.
Look at this.
Oh my goodness.
Look
He
at
has-
change the direction.
By the way, when we talk about combine speeds, the reason why combine speeds aren't great is because if they don't correlate to in-game speed, it's totally
Yeah.
worthless, right? Savion Williams is every bit of the 4.48 guy in pads that he is out of pads, which makes his speed even more valuable than a lot of guys. and
He
he's
look,
just a
he looks
big dude. He's hard to tackle.
he looks, and that's a good thing. When a guy looks faster than their
Yes.
combine, I mean that's even a bigger positive because it
Again,
shows that their speed actually translates.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Todd Gurley. He's in the scat back spot again, and this Todd used to run a lot of the seam routes. Remember that? Just straight up the seam,
Yep.
delivers the ball on time. By the way, Savion runs fast. He also runs angry. He's a very aggressive runner, which is awesome to watch.
He's also very elusive. If we saw we might see here.
I think this is a good one for that. Yeah. Oh no, he throws it. He was a
throws
quarterback in
it.
high school. So he's just like doing all kinds of stuff all over the field. He's just a
For a
weapon.
guy his size, he is so like he runs instinctively
Yes.
between the tackles, between the linemen. Like I said, he runs like he's 5'10", 5'11", 200 pounds, like a running back would, with the looseness, quickness, cuts in and out. But the guy is 6'4",
Wildcat.
220.
He
It's
he
insane.
falls, gets back up, still gets to the edge, and
He
like
just goes.
he goes. He's aggressive too. He's not afraid of contact. He seems to kind of love the contact. Lined up in the running
Yeah.
back spot, gets the handoff.
I think the comp we had to him, I think it was Cordell
Look at that!
Patterson on Juice.
Yeah, he's bigger than Cordell too, though.
Yeah.
He's not as fast as Cordell, but he's bigger. But look at the running. He's a great runner.
And that's crazy for me. Like the one thing that I just can't get enough of elusiveness. He's a short area quickness. He shouldn't be that quick. Like,
Can I say one
play
thing about
again?
this run? Kyron Williams couldn't dream of doing this.
Kyron
In
Williams
his-
is not.
He would dude, never in his life. This guy's
Never.
It's
Dude.
crazy. Like I'm in awe with like in those tight spaces.
He is shifty, elusive. He's got good hands. I would love to see Sean coach a guy like this. You give
Oh,
me
absolutely.
Savion in the third, Dylan Gabriel,
If-
man,
if-
I'm
If
stoked.
McVay is true to his word and he's actually talking about trying to be versatile, trying to be different, this is being different.
Yes.
This is being versatile. This is bringing in a guy who is different.
Look at
There's
this, look at
nobody
this.
in the league. There's nobody in the league like Savion. Right now in the NFL, in college, from what I've seen, there's no one like him.
At all.
He's
I haven't seen
unique,
no one
bro.
like him in a minute.
He's
Like
unique.
in
Look
a
at
minute
this.
as
Look,
well, right? Like I can't remember in a recent draft where a guy has the skill sets that
he
he
has
that
crazy contact balance too. Like he's a really
he has
complete runner.
He has the measurables. He's massive, long. He's also fast. He's quick. He has hands. He can run routes. He's an angry runner. He's physical. Like he's just a complete like weapon.
Yes.
He's just a weapon.
Look at the speed. Look at the speed. Look at
He's
him turn on
gone,
the
bro.
Jets, man. For a 6'4", 222-pound
This
guy.
is a guy. I'll be honest with you. It's at the same time like this actually
Look at
has
this.
me
Look at
worried
this,
as
bro. Look at this
See,
angry run.
Here's the thing that also that scares me, right? I think Joe was for Ethan, but if this guy gets in the hands of Kyle Shanahan,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good because this guy is basically
Look at that route, bro.
This is a Kyle Shanahan perfect type of player. Like
Yeah.
he would put this guy and he would use him to the best of ability.
Yeah. I really want Sean to get his hands on this guy and do something creative with him. I want to see
this
that.
is if we talk about
Look at that.
McVay's-
Look at that. Dude, the burst is actually pretty nuts. The fake handoff.
McVay's talking about versatility in the running game and the offense in general. Like, this guy brings that versatility.
Look at
something
that burst.
different.
That cut and burst. Yeah, he brings a lot different, man.
Look how he doesn't go down easily.
No.
You know, you have to group tackle him.
I'm a
He'd probably
huge
be great
fan.
in- He'd be great in the red zone too, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Run that wildcat in the red zone.
Well,
man.
And you
even
can also
just
like
as a receiver
run.
or end arounds or like,
you
dude,
can run
so
some
many
trick
options.
plays with him as well. Like we talk about creativity, right? Trick plays.
Look,
He can
dude,
throw the
did
ball.
he just Derrick Henry a guy? He just Derrick Henry this guy. Look at the stiff arm. Yeet. He
Yeah, that
gone.
guy's toast.
Oh, he almost
Touchdown,
broke
I
that.
think.
He almost broke. All right.
Like I said, we talk about. I was mentioning as well. We talk about trick plays, right? We don't.
Screens?
The Rams don't really run trick plays often. Obviously, you don't want to spam trick plays, but
Yeah.
now and again, in a moment where like you can catch a team off guard, you take out that trick play. Like, he can throw the ball. Like in the red zone, like maybe you're 5-6 yards out, foot pass to him, or he's in the wildcat, he runs out and just throws it in the end zone. Like,
Let's go. Keep
just
going,
look
bro.
at him,
Keep
man. Like,
going.
he just that right there is the difference right there. Not many guys are doing that. Majority of guys are tackled right there. Maybe they can get a yard, 2 extra. He got 5 yards
Bro,
extra. on that play.
I really like Savion a lot. He's so fun to watch. He's so skilled. He's athletically gifted. He's a good football player.
I hope Lesson McVay had this guy like at the top.
What do we got? Flea flicker, reverse flea flicker.
Flicker,
Good throw.
reverse. I hope McVay and Les have this guy at the top of the board, because if they're true to the word and they're talking about
Look at that.
versatility, he is versatile.
Dude, his burst is crazy. Like, look at the way he just when he decides to cut and go up field. It's pretty crazy how fast he is.
That's the thing I was talking
Bam.
about. That's what impressed me the most about him. A guy like his size, his burst, his quickness, his instinctiveness, his cuts, like, it's not normal.
All right, so let's do a bit of a recap, guys, for where we're at on QBs and wide receivers for this draft for the Rams. Our top 3 options are Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, and Curtis Rourke as a late option for being a backup kind of role. And then our receiver spot, we're looking at Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins, and Savion Williams as our wild card. Honorable mention, we could see being a pretty amazing weapon in a Sean McVay offense. So, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. We really enjoyed breaking down some of these guys and picking out our favorites for the LA Rams. But
we got a lot more coming, man.
A lot more coming.
Draft is the most exciting part of the offseason.
Yes, sir. So
Not a doubt.
we'll be breaking down a couple more positions of need next week. And so stay tuned for that. And then we'll obviously be on the defensive side of the ball as well. Appreciate you guys watching. Yep. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know who your favorite guys are at the QB and the wide receiver position. And we'll see you guys next episode.
Take care, y'all.